Productions Quack.
First ever ABC Seamless podcast. I'm here with Scott Mullenkamp. My name's Chris Catarzi. A lot of you don't know me. I'm a sales guy here in Fargo. Scotty Boy over here. A lot of you know him. This is kind of your brainchild. You developed it. I showed up. We started throwing it around, and now we're here. This is where we're at. We have the podcast now, and we're up and going. We got 2 podcasts that we did. First one is Dealer Questions one. We're going in. You guys sent a bunch of questions in. There's a lot of stuff that you guys want to know about. How do you think these interviews went, Scott? And how do you think we are going to be going forward? I mean, you've been more excited about doing this podcast than anybody I've known, and this is going to be great.
Yeah, we actually threw this idea around back probably about 4 or 5 years ago. We had a lot of things lined up for this, but everything kind of came together. Well, we got you over here, and you have a background in sound and communications and stuff like that as well. So having Chris available to help do this podcast it's very beneficial for Fargo and as well as all you franchisees out there, just because we could bring you more information. I think it's very important to make sure that you guys have clarity on the questions that you're asking right away. And this is our plan going forward, is to communicate out to all of you out there, okay?
Right, and that's huge because if people think, hey, corporate's not communicating, now we have the avenue. You send the questions, we develop the podcast, we answer all the questions, we get everything taken care of on that note, hopefully, and we open that communication to everybody.
Absolutely, and on that note, we picked Ted Franzen, Jerry Byers.
Yep.
One is the president, Jerry Byers the president, Ted Franzen, vice president of the company, and they came together and really took on those questions straight on, head forward, and ready to rock, and answer them with clarity. And we just want to show you that today. So.
Right. So Scott interviewed Jerry. I interviewed Ted. It was 2 totally separate interviews, so there's no setup of them feeding back and forth off of each other. It's true answers for the corporate world to all our franchise guys. We're excited for you to see it. We're going to cut now to the interview with Jerry and Scott. It's awesome. Stick with us here on ABC Seamless Podcast.
Very excited to have all you here. All right. So, Jerry, today there's a few things that have we've talked to a few franchises. Ted has talked to a few franchises. You have as well. I know Paul has. And then I guess myself, I've talked to a few of them as well. Some of these questions are coming up. Is there going to be a trip this year? Or how is that going to work? There's not going to be an EDCO trip, right?
Right.
So how is that going to work then?
Well, the trips will be individually, whatever people have earned in the way of trip credits, they will get that, and they can take their trip wherever they would want. Because of social distancing, we don't like to put anybody on a plane any more than we have to. We don't want to make it uncomfortable, but if you'll be given a certain amount of the money that you got coming, if not all of it, whatever it is, that hasn't been ironed out yet. But Arrowhead is giving money for trip credits, and we'll have our normal 10% uppers, to which we will put our share in also.
No trip this year as a company, but individual trips.
Yeah, because we realize your need to get away, but you may want to get away to a local hotel for about 2 weeks, and enjoy the swimming pool when it's 40 below zero in North Dakota.
Yeah, some of you franchisees out there, North Dakota, we're, it's very hard to get any viruses here, so come on down. Hang out with us. Especially in December, you guys are still welcome to come up and hang out with us. What about John Lewis? Is that the new CEO, president of EDCO?
Yes, it is, and he's a knowledgeable man of other industries, and he's learning this. He's learning ours, and seems to be doing a good job of it. So and he's easy enough to talk to. So I don't have any problems at all. I believe he's a good, honest man, and it's the same company I've been dealing with for 42 years. So I feel close to them, as you know, and one of the things is though that we're always looking to improve products and stuff. So we need cooperations from the supplier who supplies this stuff, this siding products, this gutter products, whatever it is that we're all buying from them. It would be like J channels and
So we're talking about
downspouts.
the supply chain's kind of been
The supply
interrupted
chain.
a little bit.
Yep.
Okay.
It has, but one of the reasons is this social bonus distancing and trying to get people back to work. Now, here in Fargo, Bismarck, and Aberdeen, we're right back to work. We're actually ahead of last year. And if you're not, please don't tell me you give up, because that's totally up to you. But this business is mainly done outside of a home. And if you went into the winter with a backlog like we did, it carried us through. That's an essential part of carrying a good backlog, that you put sales on the board when you can. And don't be afraid of having a backlog up to 6 months. We've had them as much as a year. And you know something, if we got it as much as a year, think of the people who aren't organized. They basically are out of work, or they're not, well, they're actually afraid of selling too far ahead. Don't be afraid of that, because your cancellations are almost zero. You know, because they're having a heck of a time getting people out. We see every day where we hear about a competitor that has went out there and says, well, you know, I will get back to you as soon as I figure out the price.
3 weeks, 4 weeks,
3
6 weeks later.
weeks, or they forgot about it. They spaced it. Well, if you come to us for a quote, you're going to get it.
Absolutely.
So, you know, our sales staff is trained to finish something. Going back and back doesn't really help you a whole bunch. It just takes up time.
Do you know anything about new product updates for Medco?
We're working on some stuff now. We've got some talks going right now. We would like to get into some heavier steel.
Oh, like 27 gauge, or?
Yeah. I would entertain that thought. One of the things is our steel has been the heaviest in the industry at 28 gauge. We're gonna try to move some of our products, especially guttering and roofing and stuff, to our 27 gauge.
Wow, that's great.
Just to give the homeowner or a customer a better edge on the market yet than anybody else. So, you know, we're customer orientated. We do need to produce, and like any company, you better make sure that you got enough work when you start to hire people, because if you're always training people because you didn't keep enough work, you better take care of the sales end first, and then you better have trained applicators when you're out there, and you got to keep them busy, you know, because that applicator is wanting to know what he's going to be able to tell his wife when he gets home and just accepted this your job. Are you going to work six months out of a year, or are you going to work 12? Because they need to make a living. And
everything works together. System reigns supreme.
It all works together. The system reigns supreme. That's correct.
The another question, or another topic, I guess, would be machine updates, like adjusting machines and whatnot. Is there anything new that are in the works with that? I know seamless roofing was back in, you've been doing that for 25 years, you said. There's been a few modifications for that. Has there been any other modifications to some of the products that we're rolling out for our franchisees?
One of the biggest modifications that we have made right now, if you buy from ABC, that is right up to snuff and everything that they should have, they are also making their own soffit on the job sites.
Okay.
Which means you'll have an exact match of color, because of the fact that you are using the whole scope of our different colors that we got siding in, you can get soffit and fascia in. And that is real important because if you got the coil, you got the soffit, you got the gutter, you got everything. All you need then is J channels, some corner posts and stuff, and some coil stock. Okay. So for your window wraps and everything would be of the same coil too. We try to, and this relates back to undivided responsibility. We try to have everything that we can manufacture on the job site. You're like buying factory direct when you come to us.
Absolutely. We talked about this briefly, but as far as sales, we built enough sales for a backlog that brought us through the COVID last few months, or say February through May or June, got us through those hard times where our sales weren't as high as what they would normally be during this time. Right now, in the last 2-3 months, have we seen a lot of growth in our sales?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
And it's because we have a sales force of good people who are up to the task, and we're also generating leads. We deal with customers. We can do it computerized. We can do it a lot of different ways, but in most cases, people, as long as we are wearing masks, is what I would say. A lot of we won't go into a house unless we are in agreement, or they are in agreement with us that we're going to be wearing masks.
That's part of what we're doing, definitely. Going out, making sure that we have masks along, so unless the customer says, don't worry about it, we want to make sure that we're doing our best.
We'll still put a mask on.
To do the little bit extra. You show up with a mask on, they know that, they actually care about me and my well-being and my family. It's just kind of one of those things that stick out, I guess, in my mind. So,
well, and I'd also interject here too. It wouldn't be, I think, beyond our realm that we'd offer them new masks if they'd like. Because,
sure. Yeah. We do offer them in the showroom. We offer anybody that comes in that doesn't have one, we throw them a mask and they can walk around the showroom.
And if we're not taking them to the job site, we probably should, in case they want to talk to us, give them a mask. So first of all, they would not want to catch anything either, and we want to keep our customers safe. And we basically are tested every morning with the thermometer and stuff. And most of us, I think all of us, I don't know if anybody directly responsible here has, of our employees in Fargo, has had anything in the way of a pandemic, virus that they've caught. They might have been exposed to it some way, and we've kept them socially distanced from it.
Correct.
If necessary, and which meant we would put a salesman, say, off just because of the fact that he had third-party contact. We would let him have his 2 weeks off in order to make darn sure that he could still test negative.
Playing it safe. That's the way we've rolled so far, is making sure that if somebody has or maybe been in contact, we let them stay home for the time. All right. So as far as during these difficult times, I mean, this is way more difficult and challenging than it's ever been. That's the last 20 years, I suppose. But how are you dealing with hiring, onboarding new employees, or hiring new installers or office staff even during this time?
Well, if and when people come in to apply for a job, we'll interview anybody that we feel is up to the task, meaning that they've got some experience, but we will also train. But the training procedure, we're going to make sure that we do that before we put them out in the field, and then we'd only put them out with an experienced lead person, that type of thing. And we do pay them well, even if they start with basically not a lot of knowledge, but with a certain degree of common sense.
We'll give them the benefit of the doubt to get them in there so they have time to learn from our lead crews. All right. So as far as hiring sales guys, you said, I mean, there's a disc test and a sales aptitude test that you would give sales guys before you would, take a look at them before you'd even interview them in some cases.
Well, in some cases, yes. In most cases, we will do an interview just to find out how they actually handle themselves in an interview, and the questioning process is going to determine a lot. But then will come our disc test, because there is questions that you would ask, and you could see if there would be a fit of some kind that you could put them through this disc test, to which they should get that opportunity to. Sometimes you might read them wrong, but in most cases we don't.
So what's it give you? Like something like if I remember correctly, like
How did you like the last job that you had? Well, the boss was a son of a gun. Well, something, you probably find that here too.
I gotcha.
Because he developed an attitude over something.
But these things are used to filter people, filter candidates, filter potential employees, right?
Absolutely.
So we use those tools to make sure that we're doing our due diligence beforehand, before we make that hire, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you have a lot of money invested into someone before they even start.
Lots of money.
So, and then there's that's the DISC test, the aptitude test. In some cases, you said that you'd maybe even give that test to an applicator, right? Why would you give the test to an applicator?
An applicator?
Yeah.
Well, I think you probably wouldn't want to put a high D out in the field as an applicator.
Aren't you a high D?
Okay, but I'm all of them. I've had to pretty much look at myself in a mirror when I get up in the morning, and I want to find myself doing the right thing. And I don't like to experiment with people's personalities.
Right.
You got to let them grow their personality. They may start out as a high D, but learn how to slow it down just a bit. But a good salesman would just like to go out there and help the customer. If he's got that type of an attitude, this can be a good thing. But that isn't totally high D. It involves other parts of the 4-part of the DISC test.
And we also have, besides the DISC and the sales aptitude, we have a 4-level program for installers to grow as well, correct?
That's correct.
These would be on the toolbox. Basically, these tests are, is it 2 or 3 months that they take to get through level 1, or how does that work?
Well, by the time they get through everything, some are going to get through faster than others. Usually say it'll take a year to get somebody up to the quality. If they've had carpenter experience, would be a big help. And I realize there is not a lot of wood cutting and that type of thing, but carpenter experience is overall general knowledge of tools and stuff. And if they got all of that within a year, they should be ready for a foreman job. They'll be working about the last 6 months on being a second man.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but we've given some sort of monetary incentive for them to pass these different levels as well, haven't we?
I think we do.
Absolutely.
I don't know what they are exactly right.
But this would motivate somebody to want to earn, or their potential to grow themselves.
Well, the monetary is, as they learn each one, they will get a raise of some kind.
Fantastic.
So you got a chance of 4 raises within the first year. And we usually start out with somebody who doesn't know a lot about any of this. We usually start them out fairly high. In today's market, you don't hire $10 an hour people anymore. You're looking at close to a 20 as a starter. And then hopefully by the time they become the first stage of being a crew chief, when they get to be one, they're going to be somewhere in that 25 plus. And but then they are managing a crew, but that's going to take the first year to understand all about the different materials and all of this stuff. And unless they come to you as a trained applicator, then you can circumvent some of this, but you still gotta go through all these points anyway, just to make sure. And if they know how to wrap the windows the way you want and to start the siding the way that you require, then you can move on to the next area. But a lot of the people who come to you because they want to learn, and we are different. ABC is in its installation is much different than just a normal box cider, because they got 7 ways out of Sunday of doing some of these jobs, and you gotta. Sometimes you're better off if they didn't know anything about it, because you don't have to break bad habits either. So, and that being said, is why we like to move them up relatively slowly. If they came to us and they did this and they can do it our way, but they aren't going to be able to find out, and we won't be able to find out till we watch them do it our way.
Right. And then another question that came up, we just recently lost our shop guy, the one that tunes up machines. Is that something that we're pretty comfortable? We have a good idea of who we want to get replaced with that?
We do have, and one of the things is we've still got 2 different backups in case we actually need them, and one is Frank, because he can work around these here machines that we bring in here, providing that they bring them in. We're not sending anybody out in the field to actually do this. We also expect that the owner or the franchisee would be coming in to work with that person. So most cases, I'd say 90% of our franchisees out there don't need this help anymore. We can actually solve it on the phone, and it'll either be myself or if I wasn't here, then they'd go to Frank on the phone. And
all inquiries though for right now for the machine stuff should go to you.
Yes.
So just give you a call at the office, and they'll be able to guide them through whatever channel.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I either guide them to, or I'll tell them to bring it in. It looks like you messed it up.
Sure.
So.
There's one last part to this. There's this is a comment, I guess. Very little stuff that has come out of Fargo corporate during the COVID times. This first step is podcast, getting out to you guys, making sure that we're communicating with our franchise system.
Yeah.
However, going forward, we're going to stay doing this stuff, doing the podcasting, communicating to all of them going forward. So whatever questions that you have out there, just send them over to us at media@abccmos.com, and we could bring that stuff up as we go along. So there'll be an open path of communication between the franchisor and the franchisee moving forward. So as far as not communicating during this year, I think we were basically trying to create a plan going forward. Is that kind of what you were thinking as well during all the stuff that's been happening?
I'm thinking that, and mainly what I have seen, there's a lot of dealers out there that decided that they should probably set through this, and I think that was the wrong move, because we never quit. Really, I mean, if they had a problem and wanted to bring it in, we would accept it here. But in most cases, we had some of the dealers out there probably didn't keep on with the same exuberance that they had the previous years and stuff. And it is something, you're either growing in this business or you're dying. And you've got to grow, and you do have to be interested in the business, and the majority are out there. They're the ones that are there are working at it to the best of my knowledge, or I am told so when I speak to them, because I talk to a lot of them on the phones.
So as far as talking through these times, as far as any positive stuff that could come from ABC Seamless corporate headquarters right here in North Dakota, yippee yippee, let us know so we know how to help you, or what you need, what information that you need to help, whether it be marketing, advertising, machine tune-ups, hiring, all that stuff. We are here for you. So Jerry, have we applied for the PPP money during this time, or the EIDL loan? Can you tell us a little bit about
well,
money from that?
It was an application process, and one of the reasons it was meant to keep people working who were working. And at first, I wasn't as much interested in it. I thought I could probably weather the storm, and I possibly could have because we run a pretty good ship here. But the majority of our people are full-time employees who are paid a wage or a salary, and we've always tried to keep them employed. But it's based on your overall amount of money that you spent the previous year or two. And we've always had a fairly high payroll. Our tax or ours would have been figured out on what we paid in payroll the previous couple of years. And the one I was mainly interested in was, how is this going to work? Because we are going to have some people work from home, and we would have done that anyway, pretty much. But they come out with a program which is based on a percentage, and I think the percentage, I don't know if it was an iffy thing or what, but it figured out that you could probably, if you had nothing but employees and weren't using subs, to which we didn't use that many subs, but that would qualify us for more money. And somebody could have been doing the same $5 million worth of payroll that went out to subs and got nothing. That's because they were all subs. So somebody that was trying to beat the system, and I shouldn't say that, but that wasn't what we were trying to do. We always wanted to maintain a good supply of employees. We're a employee-oriented company, and it isn't going to change. And the money that was sent to us was sufficient, and we still don't know how much of it we're going to end up paying back, because you hear all different kinds of rumors. It was about one of the most iffy crapshoots you're ever going to find. Yeah. But we qualified because we always have had a good degree of employees. The way of a franchisee is to start putting on more employees if you can, because but then keep in mind, you're responsible to keep them busy. Because if you can't, there's only one reason you're going to lose them, and that's because you can't. So give it your best shot, guys.
So in closing, Jerry, thank you very much for joining us for our first ABC Seamless podcast. Hope all of you can listen in your vehicle, in your home, in church if you want, or watch this podcast live. It'll be on YouTube right after Labor Day, right? So in closing, thank you so much for being on here. It's great to work for you. You've got very good answers on all the questions that we asked today. And then also we just talked today, and we're going to be making the Marketplace live after Labor Day too. Yeah! Marketplace is coming.
Okay, that sounds good, and we'll continue on from there. I'd like to thank you, Chris, as being the backup man here.
You bet.
Trying to keep us straight. And
I'm the backup man, actually.
I'd like to thank you, and I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks again, and stay tuned.
All right, Scott. So that interview with Jerry, that was mind-blowing. That's
mind-blowing.
The information that comes out of that guy just keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely.
And so, man, I don't know if you're ready, but we got one more interview coming up in this podcast.
Mr. Ted, is he up next?
Yeah, I think Mr. Ted is up next.
Ted Franzen, Omaha, Topeka, Lincoln, Wood River, all those stores.
And he's traveling, he's going to come see you guys soon.
And, of course, part of the organization, Fargo and Aberdeen and Bismarck right now as well. So very excited to have a knowledgeable guy that's been in business for, 25, 30 years, and he's just been with ABC since he turned the age of 18, I think. So
age of 18. Here we go.
Yeah,
interview with Ted. Can't wait. Once again, we're here with Ted Franzen, the Vice President of ABC Seamless. Honored to have him here today for this very first podcast. Ted, is there going to be any kind of trip this year? I mean, that's a big question for sales guys and installers. I mean, I'm a new guy, so I haven't had the luxury of going on these awesome trips with you guys. But Can you give us any details on the trip or what's going on with that this year?
Well, obviously, under the COVID situation, it's an issue, and everybody's state of mind about it is a little different. And so I believe we are not having a trip.
Okay.
But the EDCO is willing to pay out their trip credit points. And so if there's a group of us that wants to go, that's comfortable in going, and we agree on a place, you can do it. Us personally in our Nebraska area, I think we're going to plan something that we're all comfortable with, just because we're having a great year, and I think it's always good.
Right.
And anybody that's ever been on the trip agrees the importance of the trip and the camaraderie and just sharing some ABC family time.
Awesome. Speaking of EDCO, we haven't heard much from the new CEO, John Lewis. Any update, any word? Have you talked to him, spoke with him?
I have visited with him briefly. Nice enough guy, truly. He's not really in our industry, so he's got a lot to learn, and I think that is a lot of the delay in feedback from him. I think he's really getting his head wrapped around it. I think I'm hopeful that he's gonna bring some positivity and some good business sense to the table.
Okay.
I have confidence that they're in EDCO's hiring process and their board, that they put somebody in that position that's gonna take us to the next level, take us to the future.
Wonderful. Speaking about the future, seamless roofs, everything from leaf guards, hurricane leaf protector, colors, product updates, machine shop updates. With all that stuff going on, have you seen anything that's being updated with the roofing machines, with the siding machines? Are we always on the? I would assume we're always on the forefront of what can make our product better. Correct?
Yeah. I mean, nobody else that I've seen out there has got a seamless roofing machine. So I think we got to give kudos to Jerry on that. The guy's been the forefront of creating and building machines. And so I think we got that locked down pretty well. I don't know that we are looking at making different machines. I think we just need to focus on maintaining our current machine. Okay. And keeping those things rolling, because folks, if you own them, those machines print money.
Yep.
And that's what, if they're not moving, they're not making money.
Absolutely.
So that is what I think, my opinion, is we focus on maintaining, refurbishing the existing machines we got and keep them rolling. And another thing is getting that fire back. We need to, I'm out visiting some dealers, and it's such an exciting business, but you got to stay motivated and you got to stay fiery. And if you, as the owner, the leader, it starts with you.
Yep.
And so that is my advice: is keep the fire.
Gotcha.
Or recapture it.
And speaking on traveling and going out and seeing people, different regions and whatnot, have you seen any differences in sales trends? Are we seeing growth? Where are we seeing the most growth? Where are we expanding to?
Unbelievable that COVID has actually been very beneficial to the majority of the home improvement industry. We found that people are at home, and so they've got the time to do the research and to go walk around their house and actually spend the time with us,
right,
or with home improvement specialists. And so as a result of that, most of the dealers that I've talked to are having a great year, including us in Nebraska.
Wonderful.
And so COVID has been good for our industry, so for the people that I've talked to so far.
Gotcha.
If they're not doing good, then they're either, those companies are doing some rebuilding, regrouping, and sometimes you got to do that. So it's not that they're missing the boat, or it's just sometimes you got to regroup.
Right. And it's interesting when you tell people to stay home for 2 weeks and all they can look at is their house. They go, holy smokes, I need to fix this stuff on my house.
Yeah,
like
that
it becomes a priority more so than it probably ever was at some time.
And more, one-leggers aren't a problem anymore.
Right.
So one-leggers aren't a problem, and they're not in a rush.
Right.
You got 15 minutes, you got a half an hour to make this $25,000, $35,000 investment or decision. No, they're there.
Yep.
And so it has really worked out good for us in that fashion.
Gotcha.
So COVID for us has been thumbs up. I feel bad for some of the other industries out there. But anyway, that's where we're at with that.
So then, overcoming COVID, from more of the office standpoint, how are we dealing with COVID in our offices?
Mm-hmm.
How are we dealing with it with our sales team and our production? Like, what tips, what things are we pushing out? What are we bringing to the table that maybe nobody else is, or we're ahead of the whole field on that kind of side?
So what we found in our offices and ones I've been to, everybody has a box of masks.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has more hand sanitizer than I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as far as that goes, everybody's good. I know that the sales reps are wiping their stuff down after they leave. And really it's up to the consumer, how they feel about it.
Yep.
As far as the production side, the installation side, again, where we benefited, our work is being done on the outside of the house.
Right.
So I think that we have been allowed to work on people's homes versus like a bathroom remodel or a kitchen, because they don't really want strangers in their house or possible COVID.
Yep.
So honestly, this is the one time this pandemic has been really good for ABC Seamless.
Absolutely.
And the home and the exterior home improvement industry.
100%. So how has hiring and maintaining production crews gone during the COVID time for you, or for the business?
So it's been a challenge.
Yeah.
It's always been a challenge, and it's interesting. I've been doing this I've been an ABC dealer for 24 years, and not once have I had all three things or all both sides clicking 100%. Meaning, if sales are up, it's usually that way all around, and it's hard to find help, right?
Yep.
Sales are down. You got installers beating down your door. We won't work. So it hasn't changed.
Right.
It hasn't changed. But some of the things that we are doing, and I think this is going to help, and I don't have a crystal ball.
Yep.
But we are doing more training. We started doing some exit interviews with people just to kind of get a feel of, why aren't they staying?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we don't know because we own the business or we're in it or we manage it or whatever. And a lot of the folks were saying that they felt like they were thrown out to the wolves or not getting enough training and stuff like that. And I'll tell you, fellow franchisees out there, we have to invest the time, which time is money, but we have to make that investment in our people. To give them the knowledge to enable them to be successful. And if they do not succeed, it is our fault. And I see a lot of lack of ownership from owners, from managers, from doing that. So I just want to have you guys take a step back and say, did I really give these folks enough?
Right.
And what we did is we created, my brother actually, I'll give him some kudos. He created a training program.
Okay.
And us as a whole has got ABC University.
Gotcha.
Hoping to start in February of 2021, barring COVID is tamed down and we can travel and do that sort of stuff. But it's a 30-day deal, lining out expectations and where an installer should be. And when they come in and they say, I'm worth $15 an hour or $18 an hour, he's got it laid out. If you're telling me you're worth this much, this is what you should know.
So it's an expectation of pay, essentially.
It is.
Awesome.
It is.
And how does, so let's kind of go into that university process, and let's talk about that a little bit. How did the idea come up? How did you guys build it? What was the brainchild kind of behind it? And where is it going to get us to from that standpoint?
So what we did is a lot of this stuff is stuff that we've tried doing ourselves, and recruiting and going to classrooms, high school classrooms, and recruiting and trying to train them there and do that sort of thing. And we were sitting around, and I can't remember who all was in the room, but we thought, what about ABC University? Mm-hmm. And then we talked about what are the things that we really need to focus on, and we branched it out into three, like the three-legged stool, and that is marketing / office management, because they count on the data entry. That's so key. Garbage in, garbage out type of thing, right? So that's one leg. The other leg is sales and sales management training. Okay. And that's teaching them from how to work Leap, how to work Hover, how to go measure a house. I mean, the steps,
Mhm.
10 steps to a sale, or
Yep.
8, or whatever you use. And then we get into product installation and light machine training. And everybody I've been talking to is asking for machine training.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so this is, and I wholeheartedly agree that that's something we're going to work on. And we got the teams to start doing that.
And is that more so like the machine training? Is that so we don't have as much waste product on a job and it just all that kind of stuff, or what is behind that driving force?
Machine training, if you've been a dealer for any amount of time at all, the machines get bounced around, driving mobile.
Yep.
And so there's some tweaking that you got to do in the field. And that's what I mean by light machine training.
Gotcha.
We don't expect a dealer or an installer to be able to break down a whole machine and put it back together. This isn't a mechanic class.
Right.
We are here to make money and produce steel siding, gutters, and stuff like that. So when I say light machine training, that is if the panel's shadowing, if there's something, just out of tweak, that they can do this in the field and keep that thing moving to keep making money.
Gotcha.
Right? Because when it's not rolling, we're not making money, right?
Right.
What the other thing in visiting with other dealers that we're going to really work on is efficiency of installation. Since I was an installer right out of high school, I've learned a lot of ways to be more efficient. And what I've been seeing out there is some companies, some dealers are really efficient, and some just need some guidance on how to be more efficient.
Right.
So I'm really excited to teach some dealers how to be more efficient and really add the dollar to the bottom line.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, and it shows that we're investing in them as well.
Exactly.
Because we're willing to take the time and effort to show them this is how this is all done. That's which is huge.
Yeah. And so that is the direction of ABCC as far as I'm concerned.
Wonderful. That's amazing. On the financing side of things, have we applied for the PPP money and the idle loan? If so, how much of the sales that you see are through financing? How much are financing? Do you offer the 12 to 24 months, same as cash? What's the different options that maybe some of these dealers aren't pushing, but maybe we think they should, because we all know financing helps get every project in the door pretty much. So.
Right. So yes, we did the PPE money. No, we didn't do the loan. We didn't need it.
Which is awesome.
Yep. So I encourage, but what I've seen in our dealer network is there's only a handful that really could have benefited from that. There's only a handful of us that are larger organizations. So when talking to the mass majority of the dealers, they didn't qualify for that.
Okay.
Now I will say so that's step one of that question.
Yep.
Step two of the financing. All I can say is that if you're not using financing, you are leaving so much cash on the table. So many people aren't buying that big number. They're buying that payment.
Correct.
Right? And so it's not about giving a discount. It's about fitting that monthly payment or investment into their budget.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You could give them a smoking deal, 50% off. If they can't afford that monthly payment, it doesn't matter, right?
Gotcha.
So it's all about selling that monthly payment. Same as cash has its place.
Yep.
If you're in the rural, farmers love it. If it's an executive and they get bonused, at the end or whatever, that works for them. Another thing that I really like, they say, "Oh, we got our own financing. We're going to refinance our house." I'm like, perfect. The folks that are doing that, they take advantage of our 12 months, same as cash.
Right.
Well, why would they do that? Well, because when this enables you to get your home improvements done, not pay anything, get your appraisals with the improvements, which guess what? That picks up the value, lets you get more money at a low interest rate, and then once you do your refi, then you pay us back. Would that work for you? Right? You just showed them how you're going to help raise their value of their home and get them more money out of their house at a lower interest rate and not pay us a dime.
Yeah.
For a year.
That sounds good to pretty much anybody.
That's what I'm saying. If you're not doing financing, you're missing the boat.
Absolutely. You've been traveling a lot. You've been seeing a lot of people and going all over. Just how those dealer visits gone. What is there any fun stories or any? There's got to be a lot of positives you see from things. Is there positivity? Where's the growth? Where are we looking at? Where are we going in the future? The future's got to look pretty good for us right now.
I'll tell you this. I've really enjoyed it.
Mhm.
I've really enjoyed it. I'm at number 13 for 13 dealers I've visited.
Okay.
And believe you me, I am learning stuff, and I'm hoping that I'm teaching stuff. It's been a very positive experience for me. And
Yep.
we've been creating profiles of each dealer, meaning we take a picture of them, their shop, their facility, make notes about ways that they're doing things.
Okay.
And some of the organizational skills or organizational systems that some of them have had is just amazing to me. And I take them and give them at home and take them to Nebraska, and it's like great idea.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I hope, and I've gotten to know a few people a little bit better and how they do business, and see if we're on the same page on aligning.
Right.
And some of them, the dealers, maybe they're not as motivated. Maybe they're burnt out, or maybe they're looking for an exit strategy, and that's okay, because we really want everybody that's on the ABC team or family to be in it to win it and giving it 110%. And if it's not a fit, that's okay.
Right.
That's okay. So a lot more people to go see. I'm excited to go see them. And after I go through this, we're going to be able to know who we are. Because, even though I've been a dealer for 24 years, there's a lot of dealers out there I don't even know.
Wow.
And so getting to know them and how they operate has been fun. And so I just hope that they see the value, and I hope they understand that this is the real deal, and this is going to keep going. And we can only be the best if everybody's involved.
Wonderful. And with that, we just want to kind of thank you for being
Yeah.
on the first ever
Yeah.
podcast.
Yep.
It's amazing. This is going to keep going. We're going to do these, hopefully at least start once a month, maybe a little sooner than that, and whatnot, and get it out there. We're going to get our $1 Million Sales guys on here. We're going to get
That'd be great.
we're going to get some production guys. It's going to be good. I think this is a real good thing. I appreciate all your time. I appreciate everything you do.
Yeah.
And if you ever want to jump back on again, and when you're ever up here, just let me know. We'll get it set up and we'll make it happen.
Sounds good. Thanks
All
for
right.
doing it.
Thank
did
you.
a great job.
Thank you. Have a
Yeah.
good one. All right, everyone. That was the podcast 1.
Wow.
I mean, my brain, it's exploding.
I
right
had
now.
a great time.
It's
here
amazing.
today.
I'm just saying. We want to thank everybody for showing up today and
Absolutely.
watching.
Thanks, everyone.
We're also going to thank anybody who's watching it on YouTube. We are going to post it there. We will be sending out the link for that to go subscribe to the page. So that'll be coming.
Okay.
All right, guys. So a couple of exciting things that came out of this podcast. One of the biggest ones is Marketplace. When's Marketplace
man.
coming, Scott?
Marketplace. I had a chance to speak with our developer,
Yep.
and it's ready to rock on September 17th at 10 a.m. We are having an educational webinar to get your logins ready, set, send you the information, and you'll be able to upload your own inventory, and then let the trading begin. And of course, now the awesome part about this, there is no charge. It's going to be free for all the ABC Seamless dealers to
Wow.
trade their excess coil on our marketplace site. And it's going to be fantastico.
I didn't think my mind could be blown anymore. You
I know.
just blew my mind even more.
Basically, I
That's
wish it was
amazing.
blown, because then I would just be the only one talking.
That's okay.
So it was fantastic today, right? I mean, we really had a great time. We're excited to continue doing this. Chris and myself, this is kind of a fun thing for us to do.
Yep.
So having the two guests be the president and the vice president of the company, that just was, there's a lot of good information there.
Tons.
And then what's going on? The next podcast is September 22nd.
22nd. Yep. A week from today, it'll be coming out and launching. It is the product knowledge one. We're
Okay.
calling it The More You Know. So,
That's funny.
it's
We
good.
came up with that, not.
Yeah, sort of.
That's
maybe,
not like
not really.
Channel 11,
Yeah,
KVOY or something.
could be. But anyways, it's Ted and Jerry. It's the second half of their first podcast, actually. So we took their first podcast, we split it into 2. We didn't want to blow your minds too much.
Yeah.
And but this one is all product knowledge, and it's going to blow your mind. And I use that term a lot because it's just the truth. But the fact of what these guys know, you might know some of these things, but the stories and the just entertainment value that comes with it is second to none.
Absolutely. And those of you on here too, if you want to take part or you have questions or want to be actually a part of these podcasts,
Yes.
all you have to do is email us at media, MEDIA, at abcseamless.com. And when you send those over, we'll communicate back out to you and pick your brain on what you're thinking about doing or your questions that you have to ask.
Right. And This is going to be a big thing. We're going forward. We're going to have sales guys on here. We're going to have production guys on here. We're going to have anybody and everybody. If you have an idea or you have somebody that you want to see interviewed on here, feel free to send it to us. We're accepting any and all requests. We'll take them all into advisement. We'll get anybody in here that we can. If you want to come see us in corporate, you want to come up to Fargo and hang out and do a podcast, you let us know.
Let us know. And also, just so you know, we can talk you through having an off-site podcast with you as well. So if you don't want to leave your, if you don't want to come to Fargo in December when it's 0 or negative 50 degrees below 0, whatever the temperature is,
T-shirt weather.
You could be at your home or in the office and you could take part with us. Just jump on a call, take 5-10 minutes out of your schedule and bump on here and give us your information. As much as you know about the certain product knowledge or trade show or a install crew or what have you on management levels. So
absolutely, we want to see y'all. We want to see those views go up. We want you to watch. We want you to develop new questions. We're just excited that you watched the first one. We'll see you next week. Thanks, Scotty. Good job, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
It's
been awesome. Hope to hear from you guys out there.